Hello and welcome to St. Lucie Jewelry. Please make sure that you have enough time to sit and watch this video. It's going to be between 15 and 20 minutes long, but you will get a wealth of information on how to sell your gold to a We Buy Gold place or online, or even a gold buyer, a jewelry store, or pawn shop. So what we're going to do here is we're going to cover everything you need to know to make the right decision when selling your gold. And we're going to cover all the aspects of the gold buying process as you, the customer, should know. And the problem in this industry is that there are too many unscrupulous people in the field, and they're trying to rip people off, unfortunately. And if you don't have the education we're going to give you here, there's a very good chance you can get ripped off. So our goal in this video is to teach you exactly how to sell your gold, how to understand the acid test, how to understand the magnet test, how to understand the scale, and how to understand the different testers that are out there. So what we're going to do is we're going to break it down into very simple segments, and the whole video might be 15 or 18 minutes long. Anyway, please take the time to watch this. I think you'll find it very valuable. Let's get started. Okay, the first thing I want to start with is when you're selling your gold, there's all different places you can go to sell your gold. Now, the first obvious place is all of those We Buy Gold people that you see when you're driving a car down the road. They all hold these signs up that say We Buy Gold. And a lot of times this is just an independent gold buyer. He's not a jeweler, he's not a pawn shop, he's just somebody who decided to get into the business. Other times it is a pawn shop and it is a jewelry store. So when you're going to these people to sell your gold, you must be educated. And the big key here is, where do you sell it and how do you find the right one? Well, with the information we're going to give you, you'll have plenty of information to understand who's treating you right and who is not. There are also ways you can sell your gold online on the internet. The problem with selling your gold on the internet is you need to find a trusted source, and that can be very difficult. You really don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So how do you find a trusted source on the internet? The best way is the same way that you would shop on eBay or Amazon. You look for reviews. Go to the person's website, then go to Google+. Start there, and you can go to Yelp. There's all different places. You can just Google reviews on a particular company that you're thinking of selling your gold to and see what the reviews say. When you get those reviews and you read through them, you'll get a good idea of how they do business. So please, take the time to look at the reviews if you're going to sell your gold online. Also, if you're going to sell it locally, if the company that you're going to has a website or is on the internet, you most likely will find reviews as well that way. So either way, search for reviews, read the reviews, and try and see if the person is trustworthy as far as their previous customers are concerned. The first test that the gold buyer will do is what's called a magnet test. Let's say you brought them a whole pile of gold here and you want to get rid of all this gold. Well, what they're going to do is they're going to run the magnet test, and they're going to run a magnet over all this gold to see what's not gold. And if they come up with something that's not gold, for example, these earrings, then they would hand them back to you. And they would say, okay, now we have the gold, now we have to figure out what it is. So that's called the magnet test. Very simple test, and it eliminates a lot of the problems of looking at stuff that really isn't gold. The next thing that the buyer will do is they will look at the carat stamping that's on the jewelry itself. They'll either use what's called jeweler's loupe, which is a little circular magnifying glass that's high-powered, or they'll use a regular high-powered magnifying glass, and they'll examine the jewelry looking for a stamp, usually 10 14, 18, 22, or 24K. When they find that, then they say, okay, this is a 14 karat piece, or this is a 18 karat piece, or a 10 karat piece. And as they break it down, they'll section it off. Now, the catch here is, and this is where you can get burned, by the way, is a lot of times, or actually all the time, they have to verify that the carat stamping is correct. The reason I say that is, in this country, the carat stamping is regulated, but in many countries it's not. So somebody can sell you a 10 karat and put 14 karat on that in another country. So somebody can sell you a 10 karat and put the 14 karat stamp on it. You would know the difference. And a lot of times when you go on these cruise ships and you go to a different country, they're trying to sell you gold. Well, you don't know what you're getting. So the jeweler has to take the gold and he has to verify the carat stamping. This way he knows for sure that the 14K that's stamped on there is correct. Now, there's another thing that happens in carat stamping, by the way. A 14 karat could be marked 14 karat, and it might really be 13 karat or 12 karat. Or a 10 karat piece could be stamped 10 karat, and likewise, it would have 12, 11, or 13 karat worth of gold in it. So this is a problem. And if you don't know the exact carat that's in your gold, you can get burned. So a lot of places, what they'll do is they'll use what's called the acid test. And let me explain the acid test because it's very important to get this. The acid test, they use what's called a stone, a scratch stone. And the scratch stone, you would take a piece of jewelry, gold, and you'd rub it back and forth on here, and it would leave a little mark of gold. And then what they do is they take different acids and they put a drop on that gold. Now, as you can see, we have 10, 14, 18, and 22 karat acid test. So if they're thinking this is a 14 karat gold, because it says 14K, they'll first go to the 14 karat acid test and put a drop on there, and then see if it reacts the way it's supposed to. Okay? Now, if it reacts the way it's supposed to, then it's 14 karat. But what if it doesn't? What they immediately do is they immediately downgrade it to 10 karat. So let's say this piece is really 13 karat. Can you see what's going on here? You're going to lose 3 carats of value because they use the acid test. Now, that's an honest mistake, but if that's the only means that they have, then they're not trying to rip you off. But it's unfortunate that they only have that means of testing. Now, here's where the unscrupulous or the, what I call dishonest buyer will do. He'll take the 14 karat and he might put 18 karat acid in it, or he can dilute it so it doesn't work correctly. Either way works. What he'll do is he'll drop this on there, and now it doesn't test out at the 14 karat. So he immediately downgrades you to the 10 karat. Or he'll take the 18 karat, and he's testing a piece of 18 karat, and he'll put the 22 karat in, or he will dilute this. And once again, you get the same result, and he immediately downgrades you to the 14 karat gold. Well, that's great for him because he makes more profit. But for you, if you have a substantial amount of gold that you're selling, you're going to lose a lot of money. So this test, if you see this test, I highly recommend that you stay away. It's not a good or accurate test, and you can get burned, either honestly or dishonestly. So I say, if they're only doing the acid test, walk away. What test is a good test to use? Okay, good question. What I'm going to show you here is a state-of-the-art machine made by Tri Electronics. And what this is a jewelry tester. And the way it works is very simple. What you do is you clamp a piece of jewelry in the alligator clip here, slide it in and clamp it, and then you take the probe and you touch the probe to the jewelry and you touch it and you touch the test button. And what happens is it will give me a reading. But it doesn't say 14K on the screen. It says in this case, it says 58.5. Well, what does that mean? 58.5 is the percentage of gold in 14 karat gold. So this piece of gold right here is definitely 14 karat gold because it has a 58.5 reading on our machine. What's nice about this machine is it gives you all the different readings for all types of metal, and it also gives you all the carat readings. So if this was 18 karat, it would read 75, and so on and so forth. Now, if it's 12 karat, it will read what a 12 karat reading is. Now, why is this important? Once again, like we spoke of earlier, if you have this gold, and some of it is really 12 karat, not 10 karat, there's 2 karat more that you should be being paid on. So what you can do now is you can take the exact percentage of gold that's in this. Let's say it's 48.6, and you can times it times the carat price that the buyer is offering you. So if they're offering you $25 a carat, a gram I should say, if they're offering you $25 a gram, you can take the reading here, let's say for the 14 karat gold, 58.5, okay, and you can times it by the weight of the gold, because it will be weighed, see how many grams you have, and you'll come up with the exact price you should get for that gold. So this is a great way to do it, and you will never get ripped off. Many places won't use this, and the reason is obvious. See, if they use this and they show you how it works, they'll never be able to give you 10 karat pay on 14 karat gold. They'll have to give you what you should get. So a good idea is to understand this machine. And I just explained it to you very briefly, but when you go to a buyer, a gold buyer, make sure they have something like this and make sure they explain to you how it works. I want to cover a few red flags here that you must understand. Number one, if the gold buyer is not answering your questions, that's a red flag. Stay away. Number two, if they do anything in the back or away from you, stay away. Everything about your gold should be done in front of you on a table where you are. You should be right here in front of them, watching the process, asking questions, understanding the process. Anything that they do needs to be done right here in front of you. If they take something in the back, they can switch something, and here's what I mean. For example, a diamond ring. A good jeweler or a quick jeweler can take they can remove this stone in literally a couple of seconds and pop a stone in there, a fake stone in there, in another couple of seconds, and you'd never know. So you want everything done in front of you. Don't let them leave. When they're weighing your gold, let's talk about scales next. Scales are very important, and I want to show you a scale that I use myself just for personal use, and you can buy, they're very cheap. You can buy the scale for about $14. The nice part about this scale is that I can pre-weigh my gold before I bring it to somebody. So I can take this and I can put it on the scale and then look at the reading and say, okay, I have 4.36 grams of gold here. And that's very important to know. I can write this down and say my gold chain has 4.36 grams of gold. And each time you do this, you will know exactly what you have. So it's a good idea to have this scale, but it's not necessary. If somebody is going to weigh your gold, once again, have them weigh it in front of you so you can see the scale and have them explain the scale to you. Now, there's a question of scales having the proper calibrations. And what I'd like to do now is show you an easy way that you can test the proper calibration. We're going to use dollar bills, and you can use 20s, 10s, 5s, it doesn't matter. Most reliable gold buyers will have a calibration weight. It's usually a 100-gram weight or a 10-gram weight that they can set on the scale, and it will read exactly what it's supposed to read. But if they don't have one, and you're questioning whether their scale is good or not, you could use $1 bills. Each $1 bill weighs approximately 1 gram, give or take 1/100 of a gram. So you can take, for example, you could take 1 and set it on there and look at the reading, and it says 1 gram. Second one, third one, fourth one, and so forth. As you put more dollar bills on the scale, it will read how many grams per dollar. So if you put $4 on, in this case, it reads 4 grams. So that's a great way to test the scale, give or take a few 100s. So a dollar bill is a great test to see if the scale is working and if it's close enough. Like I said, you won't find the scale is 100%. Some scales are actually affected by the wind or by fan and blowing down from the ceiling. So there's some scales that are extremely accurate. But once again, if they have a calibration weight and you're really not trusting the scale, have them weigh it. If not, if they don't have the calibration weight, ask them to put a couple dollars on it and weigh the dollars. Simple test. So let's recap. Here's what we have now. We have you wanting to sell your gold and get the most money for it. It's your gold and you deserve the most money for it. And remember, this is a one-shot deal. Once this is done, it's done. You can't go back and say, I want my gold back. They're not going to give it to you. Okay? So you must understand that when you're selling your gold, okay, it's a one-shot deal and you must be educated. This is what I'm doing here. So if it's the acid test, stay away. They're going to do a magnet test. They're going to weed out all the pieces that aren't real gold. Then what they're going to do is they're going to weigh it, okay? And they're going to tell you, they're going to look at the carat stamping and see what it is, and based on that, they're going to test it, okay? So it's real simple. That's how they do it. If they have this type of machine, I would trust them as long as they're letting you see the machine. So you put the piece of gold in there, you put the probe on it, you test the test button, it tells you exactly what you have, you write it down. Now you have the exact gold that you brought in. You know if it's 10 karat, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, whatever, you're knowing exactly what that gold is, and you can get your money based on those numbers. Very important. You won't get ripped off that way. I need you to understand the weighing process just a little bit. And we're going to have a handout, by the way, PDF, cheat sheet, if you will, and it'll be a free download. So just watch for that, because everything that I'm talking about here, you'll have on this sheet, and you will have this information in front of you. So when you go to sell your gold, you will know exactly what you need to watch for. So you don't have to remember all of this. It's just a good thing to watch to get and understand the basics, and then you'll go through the sheet and understand it completely. But penny weights. How many penny weights in a gram? There's 1.55. How many grams in a penny weight? 0.643. Why is that important? Okay, let's say that they have it advertised in the mall. You'll see this a lot in the malls and the larger jewelry stores. They'll advertise $30 per penny weight. And then you'll see a smaller jewelry store or an independent jewelry store advertise, or even online, $25 per gram. Well, you think, my God, I should go to the guy that's $30 per penny weight. That's a much better deal. Well, it's really not. Here's why. If you take the 0.643 and you times it, okay, times the $30, it comes out to $19.29. That means that the guy who's selling you or trying to give you the price of $30 per penny weight is really only giving you $19.29 per gram. The fellow who is offering you $25 per gram is giving you a lot more money for your gold. I highly recommend that you bring your gold to somebody who's selling it price per gram. The reason being is if you weigh this gold and it comes out to 10 grams, for example, and you know the price is $25, you know you're getting $250. If they're doing it per penny weight, you really don't know what you're getting paid per gram, because everything is weighed in grams on these scales, you see? Now they can set them to penny weight, and then you really need to know if that's better. And like I said, we'll have this on the cheat sheet. Multiply the price per penny weight times 0.643, and you will know exactly what you're getting per gram. This is why I really highly recommend that you go and you sell your gold to somebody who's pricing per gram. You'll do much better and you'll understand it. So quick recap. Okay, first test they're going to do is the magnet test. So weed out anything that's not gold. The second thing they're going to do is they're going to give you possibly an acid test if this is the only test that they have. Okay, buyer beware. If they're giving you the acid test, you may not be getting what you're supposed to be getting for your gold. If they have the electronic machines, most places do not, but if they do have it, first of all, I would trust them immensely because they've taken the time and money to give you the proper amount for your gold by having such a machine available. Then what they'll do is they will test the gold for the exact weight of gold in each piece. For example, if it's 18 karat, it would be 75% pure gold. If it's 14 karat, it would be 58.5% pure gold, and so on and so on. So this machine gives you that kind of information. It's so vital, okay? They will weigh your gold, make sure the scale is okay. If you question it, most scales are fine, but it's a good idea once in a while to either have them calibrated in front of you or to drop a couple dollar bills and see how accurate it really is. Now, the last and final thing, reviews. I have to stress this. If you're going to sell your gold either locally or online, look for reviews on the person or the business that is trying to buy your gold. Make sure that they have a good reputation. This is something they can't fudge. You see, people write reviews, and if you go on Amazon, for example, you'll read all kinds of reviews on different products, and you'll get a good idea about the good and the bad about the products. Real good idea. Read the reviews on the web. Google Plus is a great place to start. Yelp has reviews. You could just Google reviews on such and such jewelry store, or reviews on We Buy Gold places, or whatever it may be, or Cash for Gold reviews. No matter what it is, Google the reviews and see what people are saying. If they're saying negative stuff about this company that you're looking into selling your gold to, don't do it. It's that simple. So here we are. We have the whole thing wrapped up for you. We'll have a PDF, a cheat sheet, PDF that you'll enjoy. You can look at. You don't have to know this. You don't have to memorize the numbers. None of this. It'll be there for you. And it'll be simple to understand. It's downloadable. Just leave your name and your email address and we'll get it out to you as soon as possible. Once again, thank you for watching, and we will have more videos in the future. We're going to teach you how to recognize if a diamond is a real diamond or not. What a great thing to know. It's all coming in future videos. Keep checking back, get on our list. We'll send you out an email when a new video is released and you'll have this great information. Once again, thanks for watching. St. Lucie Jewelry signing off.